This week, we're going to be talking about prioritizing the altar. This past weekend, I was reading the book of Haggai, and I really want to encourage you guys to definitely take some time to read that book. But I found myself asking the question, are my priorities in order and are they together? And the other question that I was asking myself is God really the top priority in my life? And funny thing is, it's not really funny. I was watching a sermon yesterday, and it was basically talking about how anything that's before the Lord is an idol. And it was just a really great reminder, and it goes into what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to be reading Haggai chapter 1, verses 5 through 6, and it says, "Now this is what the Lord Almighty says, give careful thought to your ways. You have planted much, but harvested little. You eat, but never have enough. You drink, but never have your fill. You put clothes on, but you are not warm. You earn wages only to put them in your purse with holes in it." And we skip over to verse 9. It says, "You expected much, but see, it turned out to be little. What you brought home, I blew away. Why, declares the Lord Almighty? Because of my house, which remains a ruin, while each of you is busy with your own house. Therefore, because of you, the heavens have withheld their dew, and the earth its crops." So it really just led me to take some time to really think about, do we lack blessing and abundance because our priorities aren't together and the altar of the Lord is not built? It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical altar, but we spiritually need to be in a place where the Lord has an altar and he is a true priority. If we look further into the story, it really just talks about the Jews returning to Jerusalem, and they were tasked to build a sanctuary or an altar for the Lord. And they were distracted because of the enemy. So the enemy will always come in and put other things in your face and distract you, so that way you cannot fulfill the honoring and the due diligence that we need to fulfill when it comes to honoring the Lord. It's so important that we are surrounded by people and that we have an environment that is conducive to building up the altar of the Lord. There's always going to be a new level. There's always going to be God always has more for us. It's just a matter of, are we willing to give more to him? And the one thing that I really like about this, if we want to paint the picture, God is literally in the business of pulling. He will never push you or force you, which is why we have free will. But because he's pulling us, it's like a yearning and a desire, but he will never force you to get to that place with him. He always has more, but we always have to be willing to do more and to go further and to even get deeper with the depths that we have with him. I want to read this from my notes really quickly. So it says, Haggai encouraged the people, and throughout the book, which is 2 chapters, God declares twice, "I am with you," to his people. God will send encouragement through people, and he will encourage you himself with his declarations. And the amazing part about this story is, as soon as God saw the people working on the temple, he began to release blessings. He didn't wait until the temple was finished to bless them, because he saw their heart of repentance. So it's really important. God can always read your heart, and he can always read your heart posture towards him and what that actually looks like. So God promised the glory of the new temple will outweigh the glory of the previous temple. A new and better glory is coming, and I want to encourage you with that word. So this week, I want to encourage you to reflect and ask yourself, is God really first in my life? Am I halting my own blessings because of my own personal priorities? God is pleased and promises strength when we give him our first priority. So this also ties into obedience. Obedience flows from this. And I want this to encourage you. God does not wait to bless you. He waits for your heart posture. So